The opinions expressed by the guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the hosts or the producers of the show.
Welcome back to another episode of the CrySis Queen with your girl, Renee Graziano. Today, I have one of my favorite people.
Sister.
Yes, my sister.
Don't try to act like we're not family.
Oh, yeah, she is definitely the adopted mob wife, okay?
I'm giving adopted mob wife today.
Yeah, could you stand up, please? Okay. Oh, everyone, Miss Aubrey O'Day. Woohoo! Yeah, turn. Do that spin there. Yes. We are talking about the mob wives aesthetic.
It's mob wives aesthetic, right?
Well, hell yeah. You got a pinstripe.
Pinstripes, I don't think like... Oops, let me get this together. Pinstripes, I feel like, are the quintessential mob wife thing.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. You nailed it. The blonde hair.
I remember when I used to watch Mob Wives when you guys did your intro walking down the bridge. By the way, they had a Danity Kane making the band intro where they had us doing that.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know that it ever like played for long, but we were all in furs. Well, I remember when I saw your opening, I was like, oh my God, they attempted that with us, but we were probably skipping.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I'm super excited.
Thank you for having me. You know, I'll always be here for you no matter what.
Likewise, always.
I love the CrySis Queen.
Right?
That's amazing. Are you over here fucking sniveling, bitch? Why are you calling yourself the CrySis Queen?
Because you know I always cry. I can't help but cry.
You cry after you like severely take somebody out. Then you might have a little tear.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think, did I cry on Big Brother?
That's what I was trying to say. I remember you crying once, and they allowed you like to the back for a hot second because you were losing your shit over Bear.
Because when he attacked you.
There was multiple attacks.
There were multiple attacks, but then he had you like in a...
You know he's out of prison now, I just found out.
Yeah, I heard he went for something sexual. Like he
taped, allegedly. He had like his cameras on. Like, think about how many.
Allegedly, he was convicted.
No, I know, but I just don't know the exact story, so I don't want to be acting like I do. But something to the extent of, and imagine how many powerful or wealthy men that you've been into their homes where cameras are in every room that have you on tape having sex with them. I mean, I look back to some of the scarier people in my life, like, goddamn, that's you really just give them a free sex tape.
That actually happened to me one time.
Me too. I already know it.
And it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was so bad because the guys that ended up watching it, it was this penthouse in...
Is it illegal here? Because we could start taking people down. I'm down, bitch. Let's start a, what is it called? A class action lawsuit? Me and you can stand there in our mob outfits and be like, have you ever fucked a powerful man with cameras in his room and he recorded you and showed somebody? And then you take over?
Yeah.
Call 1-800, you about to get rich, bitch.
Yeah, except mine were wise guys, so I don't think so. We can't threaten them.
What can you get from a wise guy? What is a wise guy nowadays? Who's a wise guy now? Blueface?
No, wise guy. I'm talking about gangsters.
Murder?
Gangsters. Like
who's a gangster now? Blueface is a gangster.
No, but not an Italian gangster.
Oh, Italian. Who are the Italian gangsters anymore? Do we have any left?
I don't know. You know what? I think the best of the gangsters died when my father did. That's how I feel about it. Because my father was no doubt a man's man. Like,
can I ask you a question? Because I did, I did Celebrity Apprentice with Victoria Gotti.
No, I didn't know she was on the one that you were on.
Yes, and like famously, I said a line about her. I think production told me to say it. I didn't understand the meaning behind it, likely at that age and time, but something about swimming with the fishes because she always fell asleep. I thought she was a narcoleptic, but it would be like, we just had a coffee and got to set, and she would be...
Get out of here.
Laid out. And I was like, this is like someone that was supposed to be a fierce competitor, mob dad. And we'd be in the boardroom and she would just fall out. The head would be back.
Maybe she does have narcolepsy.
She might. I mean, listen, if she has narcolepsy, I'm so sorry for saying any of that. But yeah, I was like, this isn't giving very like scary to me.
She's actually very nice. She's very nice.
I wasn't getting very nice from her either, but... She's still around, so can she?
Yeah, she's still around. She's still around. Very much around. Very much around.
Now, question. What I wanted to ask you, was her father bigger than yours? Same, even? I don't know enough about the culture.
Her father was
on the same side.
No, different families.
Okay.
But her father was the boss. Mine was the consigliere. So it's the boss, the underboss, and the consigliere.
Okay, so I just talked shit about the boss's daughter. Great.
Yes, you did. But that's okay.
I mean,
this boss's daughter is very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she's good people.
No, she was a good. I liked her. At the end of the day.
Yeah, but she just had narcolepsy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because we're running from our lives. Maybe she just finally wanted to sleep.
Right. Maybe she was just over it and wanted to go to sleep.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm laughing because when we were on Celebrity Big Brother, and you were dating Pauly at the time.
Yeah.
Correct. I know. I got that first phone call where he said, my girl's going on. Make sure you protect her at all costs. So then it was me, you, and Frankie Grande, the only three fucking Americans in a house of lunatics.
My God, that was a moment. I just ran into Frankie too.
I know, I saw the picture. We were great though. We made great television.
I think we were worried about Frankie because he started becoming friends with that woman.
He flipped on us.
He flipped on us a tiny bit. We never talk about it. I never got to talk about it with him.
I straight out said it on the show. You don't remember?
I was saying, I know we said it on the show because I remember his mom was like, you guys talked a little bit of shit about my son. And I was like, oh no.
Oh well.
But we were mad because he kept being friends with that Chloe girl that had all the fake everything.
Chloe, who's sitting like a big princess queen in her life. Is she?
After the show, I remember there was a video that leaked of her taking a high heel shoe and fucking her pussy with the tip.
You showed me that.
Did I? Is that not allegedly? That actually happened, right?
Well,
from what I remember, there was a high heel and I was thinking that's so uncomfortable.
It was her ass, not her crotch.
Her ass?
It was her ass, not a crotch.
Oh, God.
Okay, allegedly. She's a madam.
She's
allegedly.
A madam? Well, she got everything done up to a severe state. I hope she's a madam with all that shit.
She had her own company. She did those webcams. She had all the girls do
so she
the
came in
webcam.
at like a certain time and made her money. So she's got money like that now?
What?
What? I'm angry. I'm angry. My feeling. My not extremely rich and retired ass is angry as fuck.
First of all, you're coming out of retirement.
I did retire for a second when I was in Bali.
Yeah. Yes, I saw that when you were finding yourself.
Finding myself.
Well, now that you found yourself and we're back on planet Earth, I know there's some things that you
Is this planet Earth? Is it the U.S.
I don't know, but I'll be honest.
I feel like I'm around more aliens here than over there.
I'm waiting for them to land because I always say, I want to date a man out of this world.
Yeah,
the only way I'm
right?
going to find one's if he's green or purple because the ones that are on fucking Earth right now suck balls.
I know. So you're not dating anyone right now?
No, literally, the last guy I dated did suck balls, okay?
Okay, wait, I need to hear about this.
Okay.
What
so
happened?
the last guy I dated was having was cheating on me with
is this from someone in New York?
Yeah.
And
he's a nobody at all.
No,
He's
I get that, but was
nobody.
he like rough and tough? Like, was he your type? I know you're normal type.
No, I'll be honest. I was desperate and high, I think.
High on what?
Drugs,
How long ago was this? I thought you've been on drugs for a minute.
Yeah, we're going back to 2023.
Who's been fucking you now?
22. Nobody at all.
You haven't had sex in...
It's April of last year.
Who was April of last year?
This guy.
Oh, he was this...
It was 23. Yeah, 23. So I haven't... It's a whole entire year.
It would be
22. 20. That would be 22, right?
Yeah, 2 years of no sex. I've done it too.
No, it's not 2 years. April, May, June, July, August. So it's a year and 4 months.
Okay. Still pretty good.
And
time.
I'm okay.
Me too. I'm fine.
How long is it for you?
Last time I had sex was with Praz from the Fugees. I was dating him for a hot second.
Wait, didn't he have snitch papers? Is that the one?
They call him a snitch. I don't know exactly. I don't want to get into his case and his business.
Yep, not getting into it. We're not getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, what I was told was different, but
so the last time you slept with someone was him?
Praz, yeah.
And how long ago was that?
It's definitely been a while.
So we are on this.
But before that, I was on like a year and a half. After Pauly, in fact, I didn't have sex for a year. Then I went to a year and some change. I went to Bali, didn't have sex for 2 years. So I didn't have sex for like almost 3 years.
Wait a second, you lived in Bali?
Yeah, I moved. I left the country, sold my house, and moved there.
Oh, I didn't know you lived there. I just thought that you were always vacationing.
No,
so you moved to Bali to find yourself.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I was going to commit suicide if I didn't leave.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
Yeah, and not like in a dramatic way. I just would have found I had the right amount of pills and the right...
So could you tell me what made
mixtures?
Yeah, okay. So since you brought that up, what was it that made you want to quit life?
It's a bunch of stuff. Like, I think a lifetime, even starting in childhood, of never being completely forward and blunt, about all the things that happened to me, protecting people's secrets. My mom, because she's a lawyer and she worked so hard to do what she did, so I can't ever come forward and talk about the struggles in my childhood and what I faced, because that would be endangering my mom's reputation, a mom who never protected me in life. But for some reason, I felt I had to protect her, all the way to Diddy and everything that I couldn't say when he fired me on national television for being raunchy and promiscuous. You've met me and are good friends with me. Am I raunchy, promiscuous, or a hoe?
Not at all.
Every person I know is literally like, you're a prude.
Yes,
if anything.
You're a much more of a prude than I could ever be, because we were all laying in the bed on Celebrity Big Brother as I was giving you all directions on how to give a good blowjob.
No,
do you remember?
Bitch, you need to stop yourself in your tracks.
Wait, that was the scene.
I was telling everyone. I was showing the girls how to slap the dick all over their face, and they were in shock.
Wait, then that's what we were doing, laying in the bed, all of us?
You were telling everybody. You were saying once a week at least. And
yes, you are correct. You are correct.
And then Marnie was like shocked, and I was like telling her how to like give a good blowjob.
My bad.
I pulled out the banana and everything.
My bad.
I can suck a dick, girl. I'm not saying I suck everyone's dick. That's the non-prude side of me.
Right.
But every man that's gotten head from me is perfectly happy. The best head of their life. I dare them to say otherwise. Do it if you feel that. I dare
Jump. You. Feeling froggy, leap, motherfucker.
Right, leap.
So now you brought up Diddy.
Yeah, Diddy. Then we get into Paul. I mean, once Pauly's the side show that I was in that relationship ended, and then he like that. I mean, it literally ended on he walked up me to get back. I mean, I was on the phone with him when they took his phone away to go back on the reboot of Jersey Shore. That relationship ended because Lauren talked to me and didn't realize we were still together, and said that Pauly had fingered 2 girls on my birthday when he told me he was going to get his phone back from production and call me. So that's how I knew it was over.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was a mess. It was a hot mess. But that relationship was so traumatic. So, I mean, everything that everyone sees and fell in love with on TV with him is what I did when I was on a TV show falling in love with him.
Right.
Because that's who
he presents. What was the name of that show?
Famously Single.
Famously Single.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boy, do those people owe me a lifetime of jobs. We're literally the only relationship, I think, 2 seasons of that show ever delivered.
Right.
You all can thank me over there. But anyways, that relationship was so... The second the cameras were off and then I was locked in the house, I saw the other person. And then I lived with the other person for a long time. And that was so traumatizing. The cheating I had never experienced on that level. So for me, it was like I was over fucking him, like to have him so tired that when he would go on the weekends to his gigs that he wouldn't cheat with another girl, because when he would cheat, then they would love to... Oh, had your man in my fucking mouth last night. Yeah, his dick was this, that, and the other. And I would spend all week arguing with cocktail waitresses with tattoos all over their face about who does my man want more and who's the better bitch, and I must be whack and I'm this, that, and the other. And I'm over here like I just having to have conversations with people that I didn't even know how to talk the way they were talking. It was so like gross and abusive and just like a competition over a man that I'm over here like thinking is like I'm living in the home. We're a partnership. We're gonna have kids and be in love and be married. Like who the fuck are you? So like I was having to do that so much that I would be like, if I just fuck him like all week long like crazy, I'd be so dead from fucking this man. I mean, nothing in me anymore to even give it. It got to a point where I was just like, go cheat. I don't even want it.
Oh,
I don't even want the dick. I would walk in and like he'd get ready early in the morning. I'd wake up at like 4 when he'd be in his shower. He'd be on his plane by 6. I'd walk in and see him shaving all the hair off his dick that he had dangling out all week for me. He'd be tightening up that dick hair, and I'd be like, "Oh, so in order for you to give your best DJ set, you gotta tighten. You gotta shave off all your dick hair. That's gonna allow you to fake DJ all weekend long."
I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, I caught that. I walked in and I was like, oh, so shaving your dick's going to make you do better this weekend? Cool, I see you. It's all good. Like, I don't even care anymore.
Well, you know what? You brought up, let me ask you this, because I know you can't get into the whole Diddy thing that way, but I want to ask you, you said that once you stopped filming Famously famously single,
Yeah.
and you were behind the closed door, in that relationship, people see Diddy, this very outgoing and this happy, jolly person. Was he, obviously, he was very different behind the wall of Daddy's house, with the being obviously abusive.
Diddy or Pauly?
No, we know Pauly was. I'm trying to make a comparison.
Oh, with Diddy?
With the similarities that America loves them, and
Yes.
then you close the door and they're
Yes.
different people.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes, very different. And then also, I don't even know if the different person that I saw was the real person with Diddy.
Okay.
I don't know that Pauly even knows who he is or ever will, because I don't think he gets into that type of work, the type
Right.
of work you have to do to know yourself. He doesn't believe in therapy or anything like that.
Okay.
So, like, with Diddy, though, I saw multiple real sides of him,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know who I was ever talking to that was sober. There was always an element of something going on.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think from my own experience being stoned, for me, I stayed.
What were you taking? I can tell you what you were taking during Celebrity Big Brother. Do you want to know why?
What?
On Celebrity Big Brother, I don't think you know this. There was like a shock moment when we did that. We don't know, because you know how that was airing while we were in there, so people don't realize we didn't watch the show. I've only
Right.
ever seen clips.
Right.
But there was a day where I got called in. They almost kicked me off because I had spit in Bear's. No, that was the sandwich thing. I'm talking about later that night. I had spit in his mouth. Not spit. He was like, spit in my mouth, baby, spit in my mouth. This was after that situation happened.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay?
I'm going back.
There's a scene where I literally spit in his mouth, like opened his mouth and spit in it, like not like kissing or anything like that.
Right.
But he was begging me to do it.
Okay.
And then the next
Were
one.
we outside when that happened?
No, it was just him and I in the
Okay.
kitchen with someone else. You were already fast. You were outside, I think. It was inside. I had gone into the room. They gave me my night pills. Now, mind you,
They gave you my night pills by accident?
They gave me your night pills by accident. So I was high as fuck, spitting in a man's mouth, and they called me in the night.
I was on Ambien.
Babe, no, it was something a little. It was like it was a
Seroquel?
it was some kind of like antipsychotic.
Seroquel.
Probably,
Seroquel.
yeah.
Yep.
But whatever I was, I had never, because I have taken Ambien before. It was something else I hadn't taken before because I was on some other shit. I was high as
That's
a mug.
actually not even a
Whatever that made me feel was something
Seroquel.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, people that take Seroquel, so I have a sleeping disorder. So that's
so do
the
I.
drug that actually really knocks you the fuck out.
Okay.
Except the problem with that drug is you eat. It's called Quillville, or you get the munchies so bad from that drug. I remember, they had to knock me out because they wouldn't give me my regular medication.
Yeah, there were all kinds of problems with the medication. I remember that because they do it different there. But when they gave me yours, I remember waking up. Bear had slept on the floor. We had some kind of event that night where some people were on the floor. He was on the floor, like on, Katie and I always slept in bed together.
Yes.
And then I woke up. And he's like, Pauly D's not going to be your boyfriend for very long. He was like so happy and bragging. I'm like, what's happened? Where am I? I was like, I didn't even know where the fuck I was. I was like, what is going on? Then they called me into the room. I'm still not even understanding what's going on. They called me into the Big Brother room and they like disclosed to me that they had accidentally last night given me your medication, and that did I need to be seen by somebody? Did I feel okay? Because I was like, I don't understand. Bear is saying these weird things to me. I don't understand what's going on. What happened last night? And then they told me.
I'm in shock. I can't even close my mouth.
They told me, and then I was like, well, you're not going to air any of that. Obviously, you guys fucked up. One of your PAs gave me some fucked up shit. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what I took. I don't even remember what happened.
Right, yeah.
And they literally they literally still showed it, and they were like, we're willing to tell everyone that you were given Renee's pills if that's what you want. And I was like, no, I'm not going to talk about Renee's pills on
first of all,
camera.
That's not even a narcotic. How about that one? And it knocks the fuck out of you.
Yeah, whatever it did to me, I didn't even know who I was. But no one would, and then I was like scared to come in and tell you or anyone about it, because then that creates a storyline on camera, whereas I didn't know if they were going to air what they just told me in that room.
Right. So we had
So I was like on the low, just sitting there all day, like a little bit coming off of whatever. That shit knocks you out hard, and we only had they woke us up at 6 a.m. with that fucking Britney Spears every morning.
Not for nothing, but
that was the worst part of Big Brother.
We made great television.
We made great. Sad thing is no one in the U.S. even knows that you and I were on the most iconic fucking show doing the most iconic shit with Frankie Grande, and no one even knows that we murked that entire fucking
Dressed
show.
up like the fucking elves.
Christmas. We did all kinds of wild shit in that house.
Yes.
We talked wild shit.
Yes. We had
that rant that you stopped me from with Bear. Literally, people say that's like epic to this day.
Oh, the one when I start cursing?
No, not that one. That one was great too. You had an epic run. I didn't get to see your clips as much because, of course, like just on my Twitter, people send things of mine, and I never got to watch the show. I don't even know how we watch it. But the clips I've seen, when I went off on him in those cat ears, and then they were like, "Go, Renee, send her to the Big Brother room," and you were like, hands up," and you were like holding me down. You thought I was gonna fight him.
Yes, we had some good times. We definitely
had some good
30
times.
fucking straight days. Me and you and that.
Who won it? That asshole won it, right?
Bear.
But who got
Ricky?
Ricky.
They had to put Ricky in the middle, and then they gave me third.
And then I was fourth. I was right after you because Frankie was mad that I beat him.
Furious.
He was so mad
that I beat him.
He
was so angry that you and me.
Because he worked so hard. That bitch was up night and day twirling, fucking doing triple duet, fucking flattes and shit till 3 a.m. He was working overtime for that. I used to walk in and be like, Frankie is still at it. And he'd place himself right in front of one of the cameras at all times.
Always.
And I would always be like, I love that he has this much energy, but I could not do it.
Yeah, well, the loving of Adderall.
I was going to say there had to have been.
It has to be
Remember
a medication.
how they checked our suitcases? They put a knife and bladed the fabric of my suitcase.
They must have had
and
a
then
situation
they put our shit in. They did. Because I was literally asking people, how do I sneak pills on this bitch? Just in case I need a little pick-me-up. And they were like, you can't. They literally caught someone doing it, and now they ripped the fabric open, and they made us transfer all of our shit into their suitcase. I still have that suitcase.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I broke that suitcase. But back into... So you mentioned a little bit about your mom, which we're not going to touch on. So your childhood, I'm assuming, was a little bit rough then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a relationship
I learned
with your
abuse
dad?
early on. No, I mean, I think both of them think they were much better parents than they were. It's probably easy to think that when you're on liquored up all the time. I was sober in my childhood, obviously. I wasn't of drinking age. But no, my dad has said awful things to me as an adult. As a child, he was the place that I'm going to be sent to if I mess up again. Oh. And other than that, like, I don't even know anymore. I don't think in the past couple of years since I've been being more honest about my childhood. It was so important for me at a young age to... I was in private school in the very beginning. My mom had a wealthy husband at one time. Then we were living out of a car. And we were going to a store and we were paying with these stamps. And there was like weird things on the stores didn't look like a real store that we were going to because we were on food stamps. Like I saw extreme wealth, extreme poverty. And yet I was still going to school with all the people that had everything. Right. So I wasn't the most popular. I wasn't anything probably but the most talented. I was on cheerleading and dance team, but could barely make the payments for the costumes and a bunch of other stuff at certain points. But I always had to like keep face. Mm-hmm. So I've talked about this, but like I really started developing, it's a chemical imbalance, so it always would have been in me, but I really started like depending on my OCD to have some control in my childhood that like if I don't step on any crack from here to my first period class, my mom won't die today.
Oh, wow.
And then I'd like spend my nights like picking her door, going in with a hair clip, going into her long shower, and she'd be passed out drunk, and I would get naked and I'd lay down in bed, put my fingers under her nose and wait for hot air. And I knew she was alive.
She was an alcoholic.
Yeah. Still, I'm
sorry.
Because I've literally asked her to this day to, I mean, let me say still allegedly, because I've asked her to protect me to this day with the current situation that I'm in, and she could, and she has chosen not to.
Well, I have you covered.
Yeah. That part was a big blow. That one was like, cool, I'm not showing up to your fucking funeral.
Yeah, that's hard to hear.
Last time she does that to me. I mean, I've never needed her since I was 17 plus. I've been paying and relying on myself. But knowing that she was like potentially like happy that some of the stuff we've discussed as friends happened potentially.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So would you say she's a little jealous of you?
I think so, yeah. I remember one of her weddings she had, I had come home from a Making the Band season, and everyone was just, at that time there weren't real reality stars like that. It was
Right.
very early on. It was the biggest, we were like E Kardashians was MTV Making the Band
Right.
of that era.
Correct.
And so like everybody was watching. So like everyone at her wedding just sat around me fascinated. And I remember my mom like pulling me to the side and like saying, this is not about you today. And like, if you make this about you anymore, I'm going to make you like go in your room and lock the door. And like, she was like so angry and I remember that's the first time I can remember realizing, oh, she's like jealous. And when she
Right.
tells stories about having me or my father or how that went down, it was always like, I needed something more in life to make it exciting and make my life worth it.
Right.
When you have a kid for the sole purpose of creating more of a life for yourself, that kid's always going to suffer, and so are you, because no kid's ever going to bring you that. You got to find that within, boo.
Yeah, you definitely have to.
And
do
she
a
never
lot of
did,
soul.
I
She
don't
never
think.
did her soul searching.
I don't think so. I don't think she would have. From the bit that I heard her say when I was on with her new husband,
Okay.
was horrific. And then when the lawyer contacted her, the commentary that I got was horrific.
So now that this is all coming out about all these alleged attacks that Diddy, Puffy, whatever everybody wants to call him, watching.
Isn't it funny that we can only, if you go on any like of these new kids podcasts or any of the new generation people, they have to ask me to explain who P. Diddy is. And they say P. Diddy. I don't even know I've ever known him by P. Diddy.
No, I knew him as
Diddy,
Puff.
Puff. Like, I don't even know that, like, it's so interesting how the young generation doesn't, I mean, he was the person.
Yeah, he definitely was the person. And now he still is a person, a
He's
person
a
of
person.
interest.
Yeah.
But my question is, I watched the episode where he fired you, and my heart broke.
Yeah, mine did too.
My
I
heart
only just
broke.
watched it recently.
It looked like he was angry at you for other reasons.
Correct.
It didn't look like
He was.
Can you talk about those reasons?
Not just yet.
Okay.
But he was.
Well, I can clearly see
Everybody can see. Anyone that's got
there's a
eyes
struggle
can see
of
it.
power right there.
And all of that, I went back to see when it started changing, and it's significant because I had started becoming friends with a certain very big name person around that time that I know had involvement with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time he had kind of like said, you're not allowed to be around that person ever again. And I knew what that person's experience was with him. And that was kind of the first time I started to see the dynamics change with just how he approached me on camera.
Well,
not even off.
personally, my view on it is you're not putting out. That's why you're getting a hard time. That was my view. That's what I saw.
That's the world's view, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I witnessed. It was like, and no disrespect to your band members, but you were the blonde bombshell. You're, in my opinion, not just because you're my friend, the most beautiful. And I think that all the girls were beautiful, but I could see why he was hitting, in my opinion, picking on you. You know what I mean? I can see that there was a power struggle with him, with you.
You know what's interesting?
Almost like 'cause you are not backing down.
He made that girl, that part of me come forward, because you have to know, Renee, like, I was not popular. Like I said, I was on dance and cheer because I'm talented.
Right.
But I did great at the auditions, I'm sure. But I wasn't the pretty girl. I wasn't even pretty. I look at the beginning of Making the Band and like little Aubrey auditioning, and I'm like, I don't know how I became the sexy face one, because I just look like every average other bitch around. I wasn't specifically prettier than anybody at any time in my mind.
Maybe it's because I love you so much.
You've known me in this era of me.
Yes. Okay. So.
But that this part of me, it's like he's on camera saying how much he hates it, but he's off camera telling me all the ways that I needed to be groomed properly. I mean, down to my toenails.
Ooh.
I was like sent out of a studio session one time because my toes weren't polished properly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like I said, power.
A lot of it came down to like these, and then of course that really upsets you know, girls around you that we have cameras in front of us until we all go home, and we're not next to each other when we're home.
Right.
So everybody knew each other to the extent of how we addressed each other when the fucking cameras were around, basically.
Right.
There was really no secret time to be any other type of way. We always had cameras on us when we were together. So with that being said, I mean, definitely a lot in the very beginning to like create. By the time there weren't cameras on us every second, everybody had already fallen into who they like and don't like.
Right.
But it was all developed off of whatever energy was being given in rooms. And what was happening in rooms is I was always pulled out and told something or something else. Or Diddy would bring me back into the studio at night and say, "Oh, I just got showstopper, and you're not on the first out. You're not on the first verse." And I was like, "Yeah, the guy put someone else on the first verse and has me on the bridge." And he's like, "And you think that's acceptable?" And I was like, I don't know. He's the producer. I can't tell a producer what to do with his own track.
Right.
And he was like, you're the looker of my band. You think I can start off this music video with this girl?
Well, I mean, that's the impression I got from watching.
That's kind of how it was being said when there weren't cameras around. And then he like would make me go in, sing this song, you get 3 chances, start to finish. I'm engineering you, go. Wouldn't say anything. And I would just be like, and that happened a lot. And then we'd be in rehearsal the next day with Lorianne, and they'd bring in the final mastered version of the song. And we are already like rehearsing for our music video. We all know we did so many transitions.
Right.
Everything was locked. Then the song starts playing, and it's not this one on the first hook anymore. It's me. And everyone's looking at me like, bitch, when did you do that?
Right. Right.
And of course, D Woods would know because I was roommates with her. So she would know what was going on with me at different times.
Right.
But the other girls would like probably look at me in the way that some of them thought that I was like in a relationship with this person.
Right. Right. Yeah. So the fact that I don't like you.
And how do I go to a group member and say, hey, he doesn't think you look good.
Right.
He didn't want your face out the gate on the music video, and he preferred mine. I'm not going to say that to someone I respect.
Right. You just mentioned the word groomed.
Yeah,
that's
grooming
a
was
very
all of it.
Serious fucking word. That's
people don't realize how serious it is. Isn't that funny?
It's a terrible word that I experienced that with the last person that I dated. Oh, he's like,
you didn't even tell me what happened. This is the man that went gay?
Okay, so the story with him is he was cheating on me with this girl in Boston, right? She got in touch with me and then told.
Why are you dating a nobody that's cheating on you with a girl in Boston? I'm so disappointed in your fucking mood for that whole era of that.
Thank you, Aubrey. Okay, so
you're way too iconic for a hinge date to be cheating on you.
Correct, but I was not in the right frame of mind when I started dating him.
Okay, you did say that. Okay. What were you on? What were you taking?
Cocaine always played a part of my story.
You were taking cocaine after I knew you?
Yeah.
And first met you?
Cocaine has always been a part of my story. Not that I used it all the time. I wasn't always high at all. Never like that. But there were times in my life that I would isolate. And then Xanax became a big part of my life after my attack. So
after your attack?
I was sexually assaulted.
After I knew you?
Before you knew me.
Okay, that we talked about that on the show.
So that was early in 2007.
Okay, yes.
So
Xanax helps you get to sleep at night and not have
but I wasn't taking it as prescribed anymore. So I originally...
No one does when you start taking it. It always is for something, but it
was my numb.
It's really helpful. Yeah, so is Ambien. Is a great numb. It also, though, causes, if you take it long term, it causes depression.
Yeah, depression and dementia, too.
That's what was giving me the depressions. The Ambien.
Yeah, because, I could understand that. But anyway, so I started dating this guy.
Isn't it so interesting that so many Hollywood women have one thing in common? A doctor that put us on Xanax when we went to them and said, we don't feel right inside and we're asking a doctor for help. They give you Ambien, they give you Xanax, and then they give you Adderall when you got to go to work and you don't want to be in a numbed out state of mind. You get put on a cocktail by doctors, and it just so happens that it's the majority of the girls in this industry that have that same fucking story.
My doctor had prescribed me 8 milligrams of Xanax a day.
8
Swear
bars?
Swear on everything.
What is it? What is it in bars?
That's.
I was taking like 1 bar a day.
2 milligram sticks.
That's a bar.
That's a bar.
You were doing 8, so 1, 2, so 4 of those.
Yeah, I was legally prescribed.
That's crazy.
And that destroyed me.
What? 4 in one sitting, or like throughout the day?
No, throughout the day, 4 times a day.
A bar didn't knock you the fuck out?
No, Xanax started to work the opposite on me and was making me hyper because eventually everything will start to counteract on me. So even like Benadryl, if I take Benadryl, I'm high, I'm up. It's very weird. I've been like this since
So you take Adderall to go to bed?
So Adderall, Adderall made me feel normal.
Okay, so you're probably a little ADHD then.
No, I'm ADD, ADHD. I'm dyslexic. I'm a bunch of shit.
Yeah, you probably needed that one.
Right. And it worked for me. It was great, but I had to get clean and sober. I had to get clean and sober because I know I was going to die. And I think at one point I didn't care if I did die.
That's where I was at, so you know it.
Yeah, I definitely, and it was November of this that just passed.
So it was recent.
Yeah, 9 months sober.
What were you doing during COVID? I feel like COVID was the numb time of the
You got to understand something. So I'm not always high. I'm not always stoned. I didn't always use.
You were getting more into it when the guy came around and was being fucked up.
Yeah. I think for me, so cocaine played a part from younger years, like champagne and cocaine. It was the rich white girl drug. I was in, the discotheques and the whole bit like that. But it was never a large amount of drugs. It was never 3 straight days, 2 straight days. It wasn't. I'd party. And then when I was done, I'd stop partying. But maybe the next day I wanted to party again. But there was a period in between where I would put it down. Sometimes I would put it down for 2 months and then pick it up for 2 days and put it down for 6 months and pick it up for 3 weeks. It was a very erratic using. They call it binge using, right? So when the depression would hit me, I didn't want to feel anything, any fucking thing at all. And knowing your story on the way that I know your story, and America can only surmise, sorry. America can only surmise, right? Surmise. Sorry, I had to ask my sister for the proper word because I don't get them right.
That's what sisters are there for.
Yeah, no, this is probably the one time she's sitting in the room and didn't tell me to go get a fucking dictionary because I have to look words up, okay?
Good.
So surmise that there was some sort of abuse with making the band.
And girl, you can watch the show and see abuse outright.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. So...
He made D Woods turn a circle on camera and told her she was one burger away. She was like, she was so skinny with the fattest ass, beautiful natural body. Like she's the body that everybody's buying right now. And he told her she was one burger away.
Oh, that's terrible. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey guys, Renee Graziano here. And let me tell you, there was a time in my life when things got real heavy. I'm talking about the weight of everything. Family, work, personal struggles. It felt like I couldn't breathe. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I went to therapy. Let me tell you, therapy opened up a whole new world for me. It was like going back to school, but this time I was learning about me. It helped me rediscover the fire inside, reminded me that it's never too late to grow, and taught me real skills to handle life. Whether it was setting boundaries or just learning how to say no without feeling guilty. Therapy wasn't just about working through the tough times. It was about finding joy again and being the best version of myself. And you know what? That's exactly what BetterHelp can do for you. It's online, super convenient, and designed to fit into your life, no matter how crazy it gets. You just fill out a quick questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist, and if you ever feel like switching, no problem. There's no extra cost. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/CrySis today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CrySis. So let me ask you, so that abuse that you suffered while working on that show, do you think you carried that into your relationships? Like, do you think the men that because obviously you talked about Pauly being, what's the word the abusive would be the word, but mentally.
There's all kinds of different abuse.
Right, controlling. So
controlling is abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it most certainly is.
Yeah, it's
Do
mental
you know
abuse.
if you kind of, for me, I'll say this, for me, I kind of searched that out. Like the guys that I've dated, all the same type of characters. All of them were the same. They were all abusive. I wasn't looking to be beat up, but I always found the guy that would do the beat up.
So no. Pauly was the first person that I dated that was very sick. The other, Don Jr. was great to me. Boyfriends I had after that were great to me before. Like all the boyfriends I've had have been really great. I've had great, healthy, beautiful relationships. Now Don could be considered.
Let me ask you that question. How is it to date the president's son? Because that's kind of cute. I like that.
So I was going to say, potentially the unhealthy part of it could have been that I was attracted to something that was dangerous. Maybe at that time, after coming off of Diddy, there's not many people you can go in a room with and get that type of high from. Right. So maybe potentially after Diddy, I definitely could fall into what Diddy's, you don't just groom somebody grooming is a process. They don't just abuse you on day one. They make you feel like you get little bits of things that make you attracted and excited by. And then once they've got your attention, they let you know about yourself in different ways. But they let you know, I'm only letting you know about yourself because I care. Because you've now found someone that actually loves you and cares about you and is going to tell you how you are. Mm-hmm. Now you need to fix X, Y, and Z, and then you'll be right. What you'll be right for is their abuse and attack.
Right. Well, that's that tactic right there. Is tell me everything about you so I know, and then I'm going to use it against you one day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's not abuse. It's very much like the military. They break you down to build you back up into the soldier they need you to be for the country they need you to be fighting for. Yeah. And that's exactly what it looks like, literally. And so with Pauly, like everything was pretty in the beginning on that TV show. I didn't know. I thought I was dating the guy everybody else thinks I dated and thinks I'm crazy. I didn't know what I was dating. You saw glimpses of it on Big Brother when he came out on that stage and was like, "You're in trouble," and I was like, "Renee, help!" Yeah. Like I was he actually hugged me on that stage, and everyone would have thought it was happy time. No one knew we were standing in that little box on the side, and I was giving you the scared face.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I didn't expect that.
I had to go back. Remember how I didn't make press the next day? How all of us last 5 in the house were supposed to go?
You left.
I did not leave. I was stuck in a hotel room that night. The only time he could actually start telling me what I did wrong was when that whole party was over with. I had a keeper the whole time. You had a keeper. We all had somebody from the network walking us around. Right. When they took me to the room, I went into the room. He had pictures of every single time I broke his rules during that show. One of his rules was I could never be ever during that show without a bra on. Well, as you know, when we go to sleep and all the lights are off, sometimes you'd wake up in the middle of the night and go to that little side bathroom because we had to go pee. Right. I never slept. I hate sleeping. You know how it is with big boobs sleeping at the bra on. It's horrible. It's horrible. So sometimes I would take it off when it was like really digging into me and hurting. Right. And he had he was watching it 24 hours a day with a VPN, making sure every time he'd watch us sleeping.
Wow, that's scary.
And so I had to answer to all these questions as to all the rules that I broke the entire time of his. I mean, things like that. Things like when I was a robot and Bear told me to read his palm. That was one of the pictures. Why did you think it was okay to touch another man? We had to. We were robots. We had to do everything they said. We had many. Oh my God, we had many robots. Yeah, remember that?
Yes.
That's when I spit in that motherfucker's sandwich. And then this girl on Baddies recently spit everywhere, and I made a comment in my interview like it was uncouth, something to that extent in the language that in a more young dumbed down language, but it was uncouth saying it. And then she fought back. She must have been up late night researching for this because no one in the damn world knows we were on that show together because it was in the UK. But she found that clip of me spitting and posted it all over like, look, you do the same thing. Like 20 years ago, I spit in a man's sandwich because he made me make him 15 in a row, spit them out, threw them on the ground. Remember when he dropped our last egg? And no one knows.
How about when he emptied out the fucking olive oil and threw away the garlic?
Yes,
I will never forget that.
He would do shit just to fuck with us. And on top of that, we had no food. Remember as robots, we had to be in that room. We had no warm water. Remember, we couldn't shower with any hot water. We were slaves. We were I think they literally told us we were their robot slaves. Yes. Is what it was called. Yes. Totally inappropriate to say that as well.
Yes, it was traumatizing.
But that's what we were. So when I sat there, when I watched it, I'm like, I won't do it. I won't even I won't even acknowledge this. But in my head, I'm sitting there like, girl, you walked in the house and started hawking loogies on everybody here. I wasn't being made to be a robot slave. Right. And I had after torturing us,
And I was like,
we had no sleep, no shower, no beds, no nothing. We were in that small ass little room. Remember when they used to make us go over there? We were all pissed. And on that final day, y'all were in the kitchen when I spit in that man's fucking food when everyone was laughing.
no, absolutely.
And it was like
I just wanted him to eat
he
it, so I
wanted
kept
peanut
telling
butter
him you
and
didn't
jelly.
do
He
it.
wanted this. He wanted that. He wanted every which sandwich. And then he'd spit it out of his mouth and say, "It wasn't to his liking. Go make me a different one."
No, he was a prick.
He was a prick. Remember when Chloe put all that shit in? The other one that was being a prick was that guy that ended up dying, that big heavy guy.
Heavy D.
He died.
Yeah, I know he died.
So Heavy, remember when he was being a prick to Chloe and making her do sexual stuff and she got pissed and threw all that fucking food in his bed underneath his remember we helped her.
Oh my God.
She threw like ketchup or something all in his bed underneath his sheet so he'd get in it and fuck himself up.
I remember that.
We were all doing shit. We were pissed as fuck.
Oh, I bit him.
It was
They
after
were
in
like-
that period too.
They said we couldn't threaten anybody.
Did you have to take the AIDS test? They made me take an AIDS test after I spit in his shit. Maybe it was
Really?
Bear that
Oh.
made them do that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't
They
remember.
made just take like a panel of tests to make sure that nobody
We all
could.
had to be tested for something. That's what they were testing us for?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
shit.
so. I think that's what I had. That some kind of testing had to happen before I was allowed back in the house, and I was only allowed back because he let me back in. Bear allowed me, and I think it's probably because you went and talked to him. But he was mad at you because he thought you were in on it.
No, but I knew about it, but I wanted him to take a bite of the sandwich.
We
so
all
he would have
did.
spit in it. So I kept
We
telling
all
him,
did.
no, she didn't spit in it. I swear she didn't. Because he came to me and I was like, she didn't do it.
Yeah.
But I knew you motherfucker did it and I would have spit with you.
Honestly,
Who cares?
people were so like made such a thing of that, and I'm like, it felt very normal and natural. I don't take it back at all. I don't. It was absolutely not the same thing I witnessed in the baddie's house, but I absolutely like have no qualms about it. I dare anybody to go be Bear, who just got out of prisons, robot slave for a
Right.
week with no shower, no sleep, no nothing, in robot costume.
Yeah.
And
Yes. Oh my God.
you tell me what you would do when the seventh sandwich was spit out of his mouth.
Well, then it's sort of kind of like making the band. You had somebody dominating the scenario.
He was that. Remember how we all were tripped out that he was running that house and he was like a carpenter or something before. He wasn't even a celebrity, but he had been on like one show, and all of us tripped out when we found that out. And we're like, how is he running this shit?
They had him run the whole fucking household.
He stayed like that too. You know, they brought him to America and put him on the challenge out here.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah, he became big out here.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Because I'll always get, when I'm live on my like feed or something, I'll always get, what do you think about Bear? What do you? I
Yeah.
don't fucking think
People in the
anything
UK
about.
ask us
You know
about
what?
it.
When we do the show Big Cocktails for Small Pricks, I'm gonna talk about Bear because that's the
Did
small
he have
prick
a
in the-
small wiener?
I don't know if he had a small.
Remember when his girlfriend came into the house after he fucked Chloe and told us all?
Oh my God! I forgot about the girlfriend.
I
came.
saw that like got brought up randomly maybe in the past couple of months, and she was sitting there. Me and you were leaning on each other with tears in our eyes, and she had to remember that was all. You think that show was scripted? It was so good.
We have to
show
bring
was
it back.
so good. It's so much different than the Big Brother here in USA. It doesn't have shit on the UK one.
No, definitely not.
But the UK one didn't do well. I don't even think it's around anymore. Not our season, but after
No,
that.
I don't know. But let's just jump back into. So let me ask you something.
Yeah.
With all the drama going on surrounding Puff, what is your personal? What is your takeaway from it?
Oh, I don't think I'm at that point yet.
Okay.
I got to see how it plays out. That's going to be real big. I think that's going to it's going to allow the opportunity for everyone to start talking about what you know personally as my friend.
Yes.
That I'm going through. What you can confirm to the world right now.
Yes.
That I'm going. People see me on like the TMZ little presents thing, talking about some bitty little things during making the band, thinking that I'm over here griping and trying to take somebody down.
No,
that
yours
I'm
is-
okay. So I can't talk about that though.
Right.
And so when these like social media assholes come at me like, girl, say what it is or shut the fuck up. It's like, it really doesn't work like that.
No,
There's
you
a
can't
whole
say what it is.
investigation. Like you can't. So right now I'm just like dealing with stupid put downs and the little, like the commentary and whatever, because you're supposed to just, if you know something, you have to give it to everybody in the world, or else they'll make fun of you and laugh at you or whatever. And I'm kind of just like, I'm saying what I can and what was obvious to the world and what everyone already saw, nothing new. And then I think as this progresses, I pray that people will find freedom and get more clarity on their stories, because victims can talk to victims and so on and so forth. Even that cannot happen. And the world knows that there's an investigation. It's been publicized.
Right.
So with that being said, like, anyone that were to participate in that investigation, who knows who's doing it and who isn't, but if you were to be participating in it, you can't speak to other victims.
No, absolutely not. So my understanding is when the government when the government is involved, everything has to be kept quiet.
And you, as someone the government has come and visited you before.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
What else? You're not allowed to talk to anyone else that's involved.
No, you can't discuss the case with anybody. Unless it's your co-defendant, but you're not on trial, so you don't have to. And this is what I understand. So when I was involved with the feds, the government, because of my dad, I know that you can't talk to people publicly about your situation. You can't talk until the case is adjudicated. I said the big word. Sorry. But it's also a matter of everything has to be kept under wraps. And this is the federal government. This is Homeland Security. Homeland Security is a whole other level aside from the feds. So again, thank you.
They're over the feds.
Yeah. Homeland Security is the top.
All of it. Yeah.
It's the top. So we're not rapping, but I just wanted to say thank you for even sharing whatever you possibly can about the situation.
I'm not claiming to. If I were to be a part of anything, I wouldn't talk about it. Right. If anyone were to be a part of anything, they wouldn't talk about it.
Right.
I think
you can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it, but also just in general, a lot of people right now I think everybody is in a holding pattern in the sense of, and I'll say that just to the extent of, there are way more victims. There is a lot more crazy shit. People think because some of the bodyguards came forward and said some wild stuff that, like, that's where it wraps. Mm-hmm. And because you haven't heard it for a while, because everybody's focused on Donald Trump now, that it's just gone and everybody's, forgetting and moving on. That's not how the government works.
Oh, you don't got to tell me.
Yeah, that's not how it works being a victim, and that's not how it works when you're when you have a story to tell or you've been a part of something bigger.
Right.
Everything has its time and place, and you have to be patient. And I think as this unfolds, more people will be able to be heard. I mean, you have to understand, like, for the government, it's about building a case or having a case that is foolproof. Mm-hmm. And then for a victim wants justice as well. A victim, probably even more than wanting justice, wants to be seen, wants to be acknowledged, because you know what it's like I literally was, like you said, disappearing in the pills that make you forget everything and go night-night. Mm-hmm. I was disappearing during COVID. They stopped working and you have to take more. That's correct. Yeah. I was taking at least like 12 Ambien at one time.
Whoa.
Like, I woke up vomiting with vomit pouring out of my mouth.
You're lucky you didn't die.
I'm lucky I didn't die. That was the first time I realized I could die, which I don't think was a good thing for me to realize at that time. But I was very much like, I had dated I was talking with a guy in the industry that's very big. I had dated Junior. I had heard what Junior and his family thought of this guy, because he was still sending me dick pics when I was with Junior, and Junior saw it, and they talked openly about this man. Then I saw this man in office, and I saw all of them with their red hats on, and I knew what they used to call him. And I was watching MSNBC religiously at that point during COVID. And I was watching it all play out in front of me, like, this whole fucking country is a straight lie. He does not know what they say about him. They're sitting there, everybody's chucking and jiving right now. The racism that was occurring, we had all the movements dropping, Me Too, all of that. And I was sitting there watching all of it, like, everybody is allowing themselves, and not to say that it's not a systemic issue in our country. However, it was being weaponized against all of us poor folks. And I'm not poor, but
Right.
I'm one of the poor folks with the people that are the ones that were weaponizing.
Right.
A lot of things were utilized during that period of time to keep all of us looking at each other sideways instead of looking at them and wondering where the fuck the money is going, where the help is going, where the aid is going, what you're doing for this country, etc. So then now we live in this ultra divided country where people are proud to stand on these silly little ideas and titles, not silly, but these ideas and titles that they're rooted in a systematic issue with our country, but the way that they gave people identities through them is not healthy. You should be about them. It shouldn't be your identity. But it became the identity of these people, and therefore all the way to the American flag. I mean, we literally started having discussions over everything in this country came down to very everything that we should address, but we shouldn't hurt each other in the streets. We shouldn't cause more violence within any communities. We shouldn't be having buildings being burned down in people's communities. Like all of the aspects and the growth and the way that if you look at even BLM, the movement, the woman that was put that together, defrauded the entire movement of most of that money, was buying homes with it. I mean, if you look into it, the money wasn't even going where it should properly go, which is legislation for reparations. How fucking hard was it to find a lawyer, you pay them their hourly sum, and have them write anyone at that point in time that was collecting even low amount of money, let alone significant amount of money, could have gone to any lawyer and started drafting up reparations. There are ways that
we just went fucking left because I'm confused right now. One second.
BLM wasn't helping the community. No. It was an identity that was given, and it was, a lot of people hold on to it as their identity, and it's an important and significant thing, and it was giving a voice to an important and significant systemic issue. However, where the money wasn't going into places that could actually help the community. The organization was taking the money that they were raising, and they weren't spending it properly in the ways that could actually benefit the community. And we all learned that much later on as all the details started to come forward. But my point in saying all of that is, I was watching something occur in the White House one day, and it was the epitome of what I saw happening on the streets around me in the office. And I just was like, it's all a lie. Everybody's being hustled right now and they don't even know it. And they're so angry. I chose to be angry over many of the issues. I mean, a lot of us did across the board, whether they were my issues to be angry about or not. I stood in support of them. So with that being said, you hold that weight on your heart. I think every person that saw that officer and George Floyd held that on their soul probably the entire time. That's the visual we got for a very long journey of COVID. But it was all weighing on me so heavy, and seeing how
So you're saying that ultimately made your depression what you were watching in the world?
The day that I saw the person that I had dated and known what they were saying about him go into that office and all be on Team MAGA with their red hats. In my soul, I was just like, from the top down, this fucking place is a mess.
Well, the world is a mess. I think the fact that
it got to an unhealthy, disgusting
I
state.
think everywhere in the world it is, but sticking with the topic about the stuff that we've endured over the years, whether it was our parents that did it to us, whether it was men that did it to us.
Yeah. All of it kind of collided into, because I am very political, so all of it kind of collided into that.
Okay.
From childhood on, I think every person that I protected, every person I didn't tell the truth about, all of it felt so heavy on my heart, because who was I in the middle of all of that?
Right.
That was going to be able to make anything different, whether I came forward with the things I knew at that time or not. I did not feel like there was any difference I could make for this country. I felt purposeless. I felt pain for everybody that was a minority, including us women.
Yeah, because women are. So that's actually,
I felt pain and sadness, and like there was nothing I could do to help anything, and I didn't want to be here anymore. So I was either gonna do that funny little trick that I learned where if you take too many Ambien, you could vomit. And if you're not sitting straight up like I was, it wouldn't come out.
Right.
Or I could leave the country.
The country.
It started with a conversation with a friend of mine. He just said, your brain is much too big to be able to like compute and compartmentalize everything that's happening, and you know too much. And he was like, you're going to need to take psychedelics. I suggest that you do DMT. You're going to need to get your mind to go to like outer space realm.
Did you do DMT?
So he gave me the name of the celebrity DMT guy over in Simi Valley. I did it too.
I think it's phenomenal.
I do too. He gave me the number to this guy in Simi Valley. Mind you, like, I've done blow, I've done all the shit, but like never was addicted, never like needed it. But you know, do it on Halloween with all my gays or whatever, you know, like I wasn't like, I wasn't really into drugs. Right. But except the prescriptions that I was given at a very young age.
Right.
But like other than that, I was like on my way driving to Simi Valley to go do something where they told me I was gonna die in the first beginning of it. I was gonna die to myself. And I was like, I don't know, fuck it. I'm about to do some crazy ass drug. And then my friend called me and I was like, I'm going to Simi Valley to do DMT because otherwise I think I might like OD. And she was like, why don't you just move to Bali? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I'm here. I left my corporate job. I thought I was going to die at wherever she was daily in front of a screen. I just thought I would wake up in 10, 15 years and realize I never even lived. So she's like, I just quit. I saved up, but I worked for a period of time, saved up the money, quit, and moved to Bali. Bali is like this beautiful, most of it untouched land, place on this earth that you go, and it's just all healers, all people that want to be healed. Really? There's alternative healing everywhere for free. You can go over to a breathwork seminar, then you can go paint, you can do expressive dance, I literally was certified in Wim Hof, like ice baths. I was certified as a breathwork trainer. I was certified in Bikram, like I did Bikram every day for 2 hours every morning. Like I just started doing all these things that completely transitioned my body and my mentality. And then I started getting, I might have gone to wherever I had to go where these things are legal, because I obviously would never do a drug in a place where it was illegal.
Right.
But I found psychedelics. I started with doing PTSD shrooming, which is about like, you know, normally if you're doing it for like a high, you'll take like 3-4 grams. If people are microdosing, much less than that. I was taking like 9 to 12 grams at any given time, being dropped down into it through a cacao ceremony, breath work. And then prior to that, I would write out a list of intentions of things that I thought that were sitting on my organs that would eventually at some point turn into cancer and other things.
Did you do Ibogaine? Have you ever done Ibogaine?
Ibogaine?
Ibogaine, yeah. It's, okay, so Ibogaine is a plant medicine.
Oh, is it though? Go ahead.
It's not ayahuasca.
Is it the poison?
No. Ibogaine is from the Iboga plant. And more or less is what you do is it's like a 12-hour process. I did it. That's why I know about it.
Like ayahuasca?
So ayahuasca is the one that you throw up and shit yourself. Yeah. I didn't do that.
You don't always shit yourself.
You don't always, but I heard about it.
You have to rid your body of everything in it.
Right. So Ibogaine basically is done with a doctor that has to be there.
I think I've done it. It leaves a little black mark on circle.
No, it's just an IV. No, it's an IV. It takes about 12 hours to do. You lay in a hospital bed, and I just did it in Mexico. If you want to go, I'll go with you.
Yeah, I will.
I
love psychedelics.
I experienced TMZ. DMT. I did DMT there.
In Mexico?
Yes, with the shaman, the whole. I swear I was in the Grand Mosque in Mecca.
It's scary as fuck in the very beginning, right?
Yeah, because it's all of a sudden it's this feeling. But I was wherever I was able to let go of my dad, but not let go of my dad. Like I was
make peace.
I was crying uncontrollably this last year about my father. I wanted to go with my father. And I remember my son saying, how selfish are you that you want to leave your son and your grandchildren to go be with your father who's dead?
Kids don't fucking know what you go through as a mom.
He couldn't comprehend it. But the DMT brought me to a place...
Let your son tell you shit about life, girl.
It brought me to a place of just peace within. And I cried once when I went to the cemetery. Like, I haven't been crying over him the way I used to. So it definitely has some healing.
Yeah, I think all of that, like, it really forces you, like I said, to get in touch with the things that otherwise, like in America, we're not taught all of these ways to, like if I came back here, my very first thing I wanted to do was lobby Congress and implement breathwork into.
Breathwork is serious.
But implement it into like middle school at least levels, possibly younger, because with all the school shootings at that time, like during Trump's administration, we had mass shootings like every other day. It was crazy. There was like literally things getting shot up every other day, and I was sitting there, and usually with children in these schools, and I was like, if these children could just understand, I'm angry right now, I want to pick up this gun, I want to shoot, but instead I'm going to just do this 5-minute pattern that I learned in you could do a little pre-class before you go into period 1. We have those anyway instilled, and just teach them a little 5-minute pattern of breath work. It can bring you down off of anything.
Yeah, breath work is phenomenal.
We don't teach any type of alternative mechanisms other than big pharma in this country to get through what you just said. I took pills because I didn't want to feel that hard shit. I took pills because I didn't want to feel that hard shit. The first thing I did in Bali was go to a Panchakarma, which is Indian medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, a 14-day experience where they detoxify your entire body. You do these the woman told me in the very beginning, you're going to kind of feel like you're in jail in the beginning, but you'll appreciate it after. Mm-hmm. It's not a rehab or anything like that, but it operated as one for me. And I left there and I never did meds again.
Good for you. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, I don't, and I thought, I laid in bed like, I'm never going to be able to get off this shit. I couldn't see a day where I would not be able to
self-medicate.
Just to not have to actually feel how horrible the pain is when you first decide to feel it. It feels like it's going to take over your entire body and kill you. And until you do DMT and other psychedelics that literally take over your entire body and kill you to yourself and allow you to open up into the
next realm.
You don't understand that you can face those things.
Yeah.
I learned it even before psychedelics. I learned in the Ayurvedic medicine how to do it in pieces instead of feel like I had to take it all on at once.
I have done the ketamine treatments, and I do a little bit every time.
I don't love ketamine because it's synthesized.
I think
not
for
natural.
me, I don't do
but
that.
But it is legal.
It is legal. And I think
it's sad that that's legal before shrooms, by the way, but.
Well, microdosing is legal.
Microdosing is not legal. It's legal in a few places. Denver, like a few other places. They're saying in the next year to 2 that they'll be able to get it legalized everywhere. But ketamine's legal.
Ketamine is legal, but it also helps people with shrooms. Now they're finding it helps people get off of dope.
Yeah, it does there's a lot of healing properties.
Right, so is the Ibogaine. So I want to know
You should talk to me about more interesting shit. New projects is whatever.
Okay, so what do you want to talk about?
What we were saying was cool. Wherever you want to go with it.
No, I want to know what you have in store. What is the next big thing for Aubrey?
I've got TV shows on deck. I start filming in a couple days. But me, that's not really me. That's just a job. Me as a person, I'm on a holding pattern right now. I want to see what the justice system really can do.
Interesting.
And I want to see if I can believe in it the way I want to.
Okay.
And potentially advocate in that area.
Well, I'll be honest.
If I do believe in it, but I got to see it. I got to see it
right.
firsthand.
I think you would be a great mouthpiece for a woman, like a great mouthpiece, because you really know what you're talking about and you stand by what you're talking about.
Which is why I really want to see what it does.
Yeah. So
in something I'm specifically involved in. So I can't just be I don't want a third party advocate. I want to understand it, have seen it happen, and then tell others they can believe. Right.
I think for me, when it came down to my abuse, I would never look at it from the legal standpoint.
Well, because that was totally frowned upon. Anything legal in your life was frowned upon, bitch. The second a fucking woo, y'all probably got tight in the ass.
Yeah, but I think for me, like...
one thing we talked about that I thought was cool one time, when I called to ask you about a player, you told me that you couldn't... I asked you what you felt about Diddy and comparing it to Italian mobsters versus that mob of people. And you said to me, you just can't come up with something substantial because the way that you understood your father and his work and that life, women and children were off the table.
Absolutely.
And women and children were not off the table over here. So it's not even something you could comprehend. You can't comprehend if remember a few times I called you to ask if I was safe or what did certain things mean?
Yes.
I was told.
Yes.
And then, and you couldn't give me a real answer.
No, I knew you'd end up being safe in the long run because of the fact, this sounds kind of crazy, but not everybody will understand it. But if you're spoken for from this side, you're spoken for.
Which you had felt I was through that situation.
Yeah, I knew. Look, I don't think anybody is coming to hurt Aubrey. I think you're too much on the radar. You know what I mean? If something was to happen to you, it would be quite fucking obvious who it came from.
No, in the very beginning, I literally, like when I was asked to do that Harvey documentary, which is the first one out, a lot of people frowned upon doing that when there are other situations occurring. But I was like, I think right now what could give me some peace, because I live alone, bitch. I have 2 senior dogs and me. Those dogs are literally going to walk up to the robber and open the doors for them.
Right.
Like, or whatever. So I was like, I was feeling scared.
I know you were by the conversation.
I was definitely scared for a hot second. And I was thinking, because I was hearing other things that were happening.
Right.
And I wasn't like so far separated from what I was hearing.
Right.
And in my head, I was like, my knowledge is make yourself public and come forward and say things on Twitter, online, that documentary.
Right.
The more public you become, the less
of a target you.
The less they have the ability to get rid of you.
I don't think anybody wants to get rid of you.
No, I don't believe that either.
No, I think that you have kept quiet for so many years, even though you're very vocal about how you were treated working with
vocal
Buff.
as I could be,
right?
As much as I felt
as
was
much
safe.
as you felt was safe. But I think that you've made your point, and you're almost like, how could I say? You don't even got to say anything anymore. Everything you said in the past is matching up with what's here today. So it's that great aha moment. Told you so. You don't even have to say it because you were the first one to say it.
No, people are saying it for me, which I laugh because isn't it funny when you wait for those days when you know you're telling the truth, right? And then when you finally get them, you're so over it and you're so far past it, and you've probably done, if you've done enough work on yourself, Bali made my ego go bye-bye. So my ego doesn't even get to enjoy this moment. I hate that for my ego. It is left over in Bali in shambles.
Well, leave that bitch the fuck over there. So I'm going to close us out, but I wanted to I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. I love you.
I love you very much.
We got to be back on a show together and running shit.
Hello, Jennifer.
I'm so sick of
Jennifer.
I'm so sick of everything that's on these television shows anymore.
Listen,
like they need to bring the classics back.
You're hysterical. Nobody really got to see that Celebrity Big Brother, that we were stuck in that little fucking room with balloons on our stomachs for about 4 hours we were in that room?
Was that when we were robot slaves?
No, that's when we thought that we had to walk around with the big balloons, and if they popped them.
That show was just torturous. I don't think they do that to them in the USA.
That's the one when I go, Aubrey, you mistake my, you were like, kindness for weakness. And I was like, you mistake my kindness for stupidity. Go fuck yourself. We made great TV. We definitely made great TV.
We had fun.
We did have fun.
And we never turned on each other.
No,
and you never know. Those shows, everybody turns on everybody.
Frankie turned on us.
I know he did, but I love him, but he did.
He did.
He did until we started to win, and then he came back to us. So he technically came back to us.
He did.
He thought Chloe was, remember when he came over to me, he's like, she's too beautiful. She's going to win, to my face. And I was like,
they put me up against her. I was like, bitch, I ain't going before this one.
The UK would never vote her over you.
All right, everybody. This has been another episode of the CrySis Queen with my sister,
Thank you.
Aubrey.
Thank you, bitch.
See you next week.